What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are back on NHL 21 and we'll be simming the career of long-awaited Minnesota Wild prospect Kirill Kaprizov. Kaprizov was drafted all the way back in 2015 in the 5th round at 135th overall, and just this week, as of the time I'm recording this, he has made his NHL debut at the age of 23 years old. So far he's played in 2 games, and in them he has recorded a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. His only goal so far was an overtime winner, and this guy already single-handedly has made the Minnesota Wild watchable for the first time in a very long time. I am very excited to see what this guy has in store, and he seems to already be living up to the hype. With that, today we will be putting him into NHL 21 and simulating his career year by year, checking in on his stats as well as if he wins any awards. Like always, I will be controlling a different team than the Wild, and I will also have it so that the CPU makes all the decisions. Before I get into it, I do want to give you guys a quick look at the build I used for Kaprizov. Here are all the stats for those interested. Now let's get into the simulation and see if Kaprizov makes the Minnesota Wild roster on opening night in this universe. So Kaprizov does make the Minnesota Wild opening night roster, and we'll be starting off on the 4th line at right wing, playing alongside Marcus Foligno and Victor Rask. Kirill Kaprizov is at 77 overall with medium elite potential, and once again, here are his stats. 87 speed, 85 deking, and 85 offensive awareness. Once again, I personally set these. You may or may not agree with it, but this is what we're rolling with. Hopefully EA adds guys like Kaprizov, Sorokin, and Zegras into the game soon. Anyway, Kaprizov is up with the Wild, and let's see if he can help them make the playoffs and win the Calder Trophy as the league's best rookie. In their first year with Kirill Kaprizov, the Minnesota Wild finished 20th in the league and missed out on the playoffs. Kaprizov's rookie year saw him play all 82 games and put up 16 goals and 15 assists for... Oh, the Islanders scored. Nice. So he put up 16 goals and 15 assists for 31 points. He increases up to a 79 overall, and this was lower than I was expecting for him point-wise, but he is on the 4th line, so hopefully with this growth he gets more ice time next year. Also, he clearly did not win the Calder, as that goes to Alexis Lafreniere of the New York Rangers. The Wild fell off in year number 2 and finished dead last in the NHL, and instead of being in the playoff talks, will be in the lottery talks. Despite the team doing poorly, Kirill Kaprizov does have a good regular season, scoring 24 goals and 26 assists for 60 points on the year. With this, we do see him increase up to an 82 overall, and the Minnesota Wild do win the first overall pick. And with that pick, they selected Petri Koistinen, who is a 79 overall defensive defenseman with medium elite potential. Again, the Wild do not have the best of seasons, but it was better than their last one as they finished 21st in the league. Kaprizov in the final year of his contract again had a pretty good season as he scored 37 goals and 26 assists for 63 points on the year. He increased up to an 85 overall, and in the offseason he re-signs with the Minnesota Wild on a 5-year deal worth $7.2 million per year. Year 4, the Wild are still trash and finished 26th in the NHL. Again, we see Kirill Kaprizov lead the Wild in points as he scored 27 goals and 41 assists for 68 points, which is good enough to bring him up to an 86 overall. Kaprizov does lose his elite potential, and the Wild gotta get going soon because this video pretty much sucks right now. Finally, here in year number 5, the Wild make the playoffs after finishing 17th in the NHL. The long-awaited playoff appearance does not last long, sadly, as the Oilers take care of them in just 5 games in the first round. Kirill Kaprizov once again leads the Wild with 30 goals and 42 assists for 72 points in the regular season, and in the playoffs showed up big time with 5 goals and an assist for 6 points in 5 games. With all this, Kaprizov remains at 86 overall, and here are the awards for the last 5 years for those who are interested. After finally making the playoffs, the Wild immediately go back to being an absolutely terrible team and fall all the way to 29th in the league. Kaprizov, like the team, took a step back, and this season put up 29 goals and 38 assists for 59 points and lose the top scoring spot on the Wild to a 38-year-old Sidney Crosby. With this, we do see Kaprizov drop to an 85 overall, and the Wild make out big again in the draft lottery, getting another first overall pick. This time around, they select Mason McCarron, who is an 84 overall sniper with medium elite potential. The Wild bounced back big time and finished 7th in the NHL, which obviously was enough to secure a playoff spot. They matched up with Dallas in the first round and again failed to advance as they lost to them in 5 games. Kirill Kaprizov is back as the Wild's lead scorer as he puts up 35 goals and 34 assists for 69 points. The playoffs see him put up just 2 goals and he increases back up to an 86 overall. Year 8 sees the Wild making the playoffs for the second straight season as they finished 15th in the NHL. The playoffs are finally solid as well, as the Wild make a run all the way to the Western Conference Finals, where they are swept by the Edmonton Oilers. Kirill Kaprizov had his best season yet, which saw him score 43 goals and 36 assists for 79 points. In the playoff run, he added another 9 points and jumps up to an 89 overall. This was the last year of his current deal, and in the offseason he stays put with the Minnesota Wild on a new 3-year deal worth $10.4 million per year. Minnesota has a huge year, finishing second in the league, winning their conference as well as their division. The playoffs saw them rematch with the Edmonton Oilers once again in the third round, but again they fall to them, this time in 7 games. Kirill Kaprizov had himself another big season, scoring 44 goals and 39 assists for 83 points, and in the playoffs he added another 19 points in 17 games. With all this, he remains at 89 overall. After 2 straight deep runs, the Minnesota Wild find themselves on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoffs in year number 10 after finishing 15th in the league. Kaprizov still put up big numbers regardless, and this year saw him score 43 goals and 43 assists for 86 points. He drops to an 88 overall, and once again, here are the last 5 years of awards for those who are interested. So, 10 years into his NHL career now, Kirill Kaprizov has played in 813 NHL games, scored 320 goals and 350 assists for 670 points so far. He is still yet to win any awards, and hopefully that changes soon, as the Wild have been much better in recent years. He is 33 years old, so his career most likely is on the decline, but once again, hopefully the Wild can get him a cup in the coming years. And it looks like the Wild are back to mediocrity, as they fell back to 24th in the NHL and missed the playoffs for the second consecutive year. Kirill Kaprizov in the final year of his current deal struggled to stay healthy and only appeared in 69 games. In those 69 games, he scored 34 goals and 34 assists for 68 points and decreased to an 87 overall. In the offseason, he signs another 3-year deal with the Minnesota Wild, this one worth $10.7 million per year. For the second straight season, the Minnesota Wild finished 24th in the NHL and failed to make the postseason. Age finally seemed to catch up to Kirill Kaprizov as well, as he played a full season and puts up just 28 goals and 29 assists for 57 points on the year. Not a bad season by any means, especially for someone of that age, but not as good as what we usually see from him, and with that, he drops to an 84 overall. The Minnesota Wild once again get our hopes up after a 7th place finish, but come playoff time they don't do much, as they fall in the second round to the Winnipeg Jets in 5 games. Kirill Kaprizov's regular season saw him score 24 goals and 28 assists for 52 points. In the playoffs he adds another 5 goals and 3 assists for 8 points, and with this he drops to an 82 overall. The inconsistencies continue, as the Wild now are once again one of the worst teams in the NHL after finishing 26th in the league. Kaprizov, at 37 years old and in the final year of his current deal, scored 20 goals and 17 assists for 37 points. He dropped to a 78 overall and does decide to call it a career and retire. So in 1,126 NHL games, Kirill Kaprizov scored 426 goals and 458 assists for 884 career NHL points. Kaprizov was definitely a very solid player and goal scorer, but sadly he was never good enough to win any personal awards or a Stanley Cup. You can't blame the 0 cups on Kaprizov, that's a full team effort, and speaking of the team, the Minnesota Wild were incredibly inconsistent and only came close to a cup twice in Kaprizov's 14-year career. Along with all of his stats, he ends his career as the all-time franchise leader in goals and points for the Minnesota Wild. There you guys have it, Kirill Kaprizov's career simulated here on NHL 21. Personally, I think he will have a better career in real life than this game showed, and I do think the Wild will also be much better in real life as well. Like I said in the beginning of the video, the Minnesota Wild finally have their star and are starting to be a team I actually find myself wanting to watch. So I'm happy for you Wild fans. Anyway, once again, that's it for this one. I have 3 videos in the works right now. One of them was actually recorded before this one, and it's a Trevor Zegras career simulation. The other videos you will see shortly, so stay tuned for those. Thank you guys so much for watching and putting up with these long breaks. This last one I wasn't planning on taking. I may or may not got the thing that's shut down the whole world in the past year, but whatever. I really appreciate the endless support. Hopefully we will be back as soon as next week with another video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.